To access and create a group in your Schoology account, we'll start from the green taskbar at the top and select Groups. A list of your groups will show here with their tiles distinguishing them from others. On the far right, go ahead and click My Groups. This gives us a more expansive version to look at for all the groups that we have access to and that we can create. The first place we'll be taken are My Groups. These are all the groups that you are either a member or an admin of. If you are an administrator on one of your groups, you will see the yellow shield with a blue star in the middle. These groups you can freely access here. You also see school groups. Based on the school that you're identified with in Schoology, you'll be able to see all the groups that are listed there. You won't necessarily be able to click into those groups to see content because you're not a member, but it'll give you an idea about what's happening around campus and how your school is using groups. Public groups are available for any Schoology user to access. So you can go ahead and take a look at Schoology educator groups, see the number of members, and there's different types of groups that have been created by Schoology or others that have been made public. If you'd like to become a member, you go ahead and click Join Group to join this group, in which case you'll receive notifications and updates. If you ever delete a group, you can access them by selecting Deleted Groups here. Some groups you can select and restore. For now, let's head back to groups. So to create a group, you notice on the far right side, you see Join Group and Reorder Groups and Create a Group. We're going to select the option to create a group. Your school will be specified here. I'm tied to Grosse Pointe Union High School District. Yours will say your site most likely, Valhalla, Mount McGill, etc. Go ahead and give your group a name that will be easily identifiable for those that you're going to be adding to the group. You can give your group a description if you'd like as well. For privacy, we recommend leaving it as group, which means only accessible to people in your group. If this is going to be a private group for you, you would select no one. You can also customize in the next step if you'd like to set different parameters for who can access your group. But we can do that later. So we'll leave that there for now. Under access, people can access your group only from an invitation from you. Some groups, if you want to allow access to request, you would select this option. Or if you want this to remain open, anybody can view your group and join. This would be like the public groups that are listed here. For groups that you want to maintain privacy for and then only invite people that you have in mind, go ahead and leave that there. And then go ahead and select a category for your group. And this will depend on the type of group that you're making for your school. These can be changed at a later date. If we're ready to create a group, we're going to go ahead and select Create a Group. Once our group is created, we're taken to the group homepage. We see here at the top our group title. We can see which school this is tied to. We can see our course image is listed here, and we see all these options over here, which we'll take a look at as we go through this course. Once you have your group created, we want to make it easily identifiable for members who click groups to identify it with the picture. If we click groups, we see that Schoology educators, this group here, and then GUHSD Schoology supports all have custom logos that make it easy to identify which group this is. This is what we're going to do now. We're going to be doing that by clicking Edit Picture here. Before we do that, we're going to create an image using Google Drawing. You'll notice in the next assignment after you watch this video, you'll be asked to customize this and you'll be given the link to this Google Drawing I'm about to use. So here's a template that Schoology has created that's already pre-formatted and sized, so it's easy to pop in to this area here. And what we're going to be doing is customizing this. So let's say, for example, that I'm a Mount McGill teacher and I'm creating a video game group. So the first thing I probably want to do is insert my Mount McGill picture. You can go ahead and click and highlight to drag and delete the Schoology logos. Go ahead and replace that picture with this picture. You may need to do some resizing. And of course, we'll need to rename this. And you can either type the name of the school or resize if you need to up here. So it's on the line. And maybe this is a group for my video game club. Maybe I'm the advisor of this. Or maybe it's a PLC, in which case it's a English group PLC. Lots of different ways you can create groups. And so you can go ahead and we can change the background if we want to, all kinds of different colors. And if you want to, you can search the web for some images. And so we're really customizing it to fit your need here. When you're happy with the way that this looks, you're going to go ahead and select File. You're going to go Download and select PNG. It'll download to your computer's hard drive. We'll navigate back to our group's homepage. We're going to go ahead and select Edit Picture on the top left. We're going to choose the Attach File option. And we're going to locate the file that we just downloaded. There it is. I'm going to select Open. It will upload into Schoology, and we see that it's populated over here. Go ahead and click the X button to exit. And we're all set. Now that we have our group tile finished, the next place we want to go is to take a look at the group options. We can edit the information, we can edit privacy, we can moderate posts, and we can access the recycling bin. We're actually going to start in Edit Info because when we click Edit Info, it gives us all of those options that were listed in that drop-down menu. So if we need to change anything about this group, the name, description, the privacy settings, the access, or the categories, you can do that here and click Save Changes. Once we click over to settings, these are some things you definitely want to take a look at depending upon the type of group that you have. You may have a class of 2025 group if you're a group of counselors. You may have other types of specific groups for clubs on campus. Or you may have other types of groups. So considering the privacy settings will be important. These top settings right here listed that I've highlighted, these are who can see things inside the group. So you can't change these here. They are locked by the district, but we do have some flexibility down here. So as the group creator and group admin, you have the ability to see who sees what. If you hover over these question marks, they give a description of the label. So who can see the group profile page? Who can see group updates? Who can see the calendar? Who can see group resources? Who can see the group roster so they can identify who else is in the group with them? And then who can see the discussion board? It defaults to everybody in the group can see all of these things. However, if you want to change that and say, let's say, for example, I don't want any of the students to see the other students that are in there or my other group members to know who's in there, I would select no one. So nobody could see, no other person could see, unless they were an administrator in the group, who is in the group itself. Down here in this section here, this is who can interact with the group. So what roles, members or admins? So if we take a look here, who can post group updates? Again, hovering over the question mark, who can post updates to the group? In this case, it defaults to all members. Who can comment on group updates? It defaults to all members. And again, if you want to change this, if you have a student group and you don't want your students to post updates, you don't want your students to be able to comment, you would select only group admins. So that means that only the group administrators would be able to do these things or add these items. Same thing here with discussions and resources. So go ahead and make these selections based on the interactivity you want your students to have or you want your other group members to have. Down here, we see parent settings. So if you're creating a group where you're going to be having students in them, parents will be able to access the students group. They'll be able to only view. So if we look here, it says permission to view items and activity, but not edit, submit, or participate within the group. So students can see what group they're in and can see the content. They can look, but they can't touch. Once you have your settings defined as you'd like, go ahead and click Save Changes. You also have the ability to moderate. So if your group members are going to be adding updates or adding discussions, but you want to verify them before you allow them to be public for everybody in the group, you can enable moderation to do that. Anything that is deleted within the group goes to the recycling bin. Any updates, any discussions, any items that are added are listed here.